It is really a profound honor for me to stand here today in front of you in this magnificent city of Dublin, a city that has long been a beacon of resilience and cultural pride and unwavering love of nation, and I saw that in all the speeches today. To speak in Ireland, a land whose history is written in courage and whose people have never forgotten the value of sovereignty, is a privilege I shall treasure. So I must begin by expressing my gratitude to Enzo Alias, president of Patriots Network, and his vision and tireless dedication has made this gathering possible, as well as gatherings that he has everywhere in the world, not just in Europe. Enzo, your commitment to building bridges between patriotic movements across Europe and the world is not merely commendable, but it is essential. In an age when the authentic voice of the people is so often drowned out, you have created a platform where the voices can ring clear and strong. Thank you for your leadership, your courage, and for the opportunity to address this today. To Patrick Quinlan, President of the National Party of Ireland, a special recognition today. Thank you for teaching me things I have not known before, and I can see that your leadership of the movement, of your movement on this Irish soil, your steadfast commitment to Irish identity and sovereignty sets an inspiring example, and you are very charismatic. And to Jan McOiranta? No. You see, my Irish is terrible, but next time I will learn. President of the Youth Movement, you represent what gives us the greatest hope. A new generation that refuses to inherit a continent estranged from its own heritage. I was so impressed. Dublin has witnessed a long time many historic gatherings, and I believe history in the come will remember this one. And what we discuss here, the connections we forge, the resolve we strengthen, this will echo far beyond those walls, outside of the people who are against us, and everywhere for the people who are with us. So I will be short. I called my speech the Brussels Labyrinth, or Democracy Lost in Translation. And I'd like to start with a confession. I tried to read the Lisbon Treaty last week, all of it. I made it up to page 47, before I realized that I had learned absolutely nothing, except that whoever wrote it really hated clarity. I wonder why. You know what I found on page 47? A clause about qualified majority voting procedures in the Council concerning the European Public Prosecutor's Office. Riveting stuff. I'm sure you all talk about it during dinner. And that, my friends, is European Union in a nutshell. Incomprehensible by design, inaccessible by intention, and unaccountable by structure. Today I want to ask the question the Brussels hopes you'll never ask. Does European Union allow for real democracy? Spoiler alert. No, but the reasons are far more interesting and alarming than one might think. Act 1. There are 7 acts, but brief. The cucumber rebellion that never was. Reading again through European regulations, let me tell you about regulation number 1677/88. This magnificent piece of legislation, which took countless hours of expert deliberation, months of deliberation, established that class 1 cucumbers must be practically straight with a maximum arc of 10 millimeters per 10 centimeters of length. Yeah, you heard it right. Brussels regulated the curvature of cucumbers. We might think this is funny, and we have some ex-MPs here. And it is, but here is what's not funny, that bureaucrats in Brussels were measuring cucumber curves with geometric precision. Not a single person who voted for curved cucumbers had any say in the matter. So this is what Friedrich Hayek called the fatal conceit, the belief that a small group of experts in a Distant capitals knows better than millions of individuals making their own choices. Except that Hayek was talking about something else, central economic planning. And Brussels has taken it further, central cucumber planning. The cucumber regulation was eventually repealed after 21 years, not because we citizens demanded it, but because Brussels realized that finally it became a punchline. Act 2. When the people said no, and Brussels said, try it again. Let me take you back to 2005, and I can take you back to last year in Romania. The European Constitution is put to vote in France and the Netherlands. The polls are clear. This is going to be close. EU mobilizes, celebrities endorse it, you're talking about televisions, they were all present there, businesses supported it, but the people said no. France rejected it, 55%, Netherlands 61%. What did Brussels do? They said, try again. They did another referendum, they changed the name from Constitution to Lisbon Treaty, removed the flag and the symbolism, and then they came here to Ireland. And they said, hold a referendum in Ireland. The Irish said no, 53% rejection. So Brussels did again what Brussels knows best. They asked to vote again. After a massive campaign, the Irish dutifully voted yes. So that's democracy in Brussels' perspective. Act 3, the mystery of unelected rules. Who is the president of the European Commission? We know because there are so many problems with that president. But in general, during years, we didn't know. Most Europeans still don't. And here's the really funny part. Even if you did know it, and even if you knew that person quite well, I'm sure you didn't vote for them, because we don't vote for the president of the European Commission. The Commission, the only EU body that can propose legislation that is very important for all of us, consists of 27 appointed commissioners, not elected, appointed. So, again, backroom negotiations that goes between national governments. Do we have a say in the matter? Of course not. If you criticize it, you are anti-European, or even worse, we all know how we are labeled. No need to say it here. Act 4, the principle that wasn't. The Treaty on European Union proclaims the sacred principle of subsidiarity. Decisions should be taken to the closest possible level to the citizens. It's very nice, it's very democratic, it's reassuring, but Brussels defines what subsidiarity means. You know how it is? It's like we are in a hen house and the fox is in charge of the hen house. And if the hen complains, the fox says, well, I'm actually protecting you by yourself or from yourself. One example, national budgets. For most of human history, control over taxation and spending was considered the sine qua non part of being sovereign. Magna Carta, English Civil War, and so on and so forth. But through the Stability and Growth Pact, the Fiscal Compact, and European Semester, Brussels now controls all national budgets. So if the deficit exceeds 3%, debt exceeds 60% of GDP, Brussels can impose fines, sanctions, and so-called corrective measures. We had here the MP from Greece. When countries like Greece, for example, objected, they were told that they were not serious about the reform. Basically, what does it mean in translation? Shut up and do what you're told by Brussels. Act 5, language of power. Here's a quite fun game. Trying to read any EU document without a law degree, a business degree like you, and also a dictionary and a stiff drink, probably you are not going to understand anything, because EU doesn't speak English, French, Irish, Romanian. It speaks a language which is some kind of Eurospeak bureaucratic dialect designed to obscure even the professors who are here in this room. And why is this? Because language is power. So when you make governance not comprehensible, then it's not accountable either. So citizens cannot change what they cannot really understand. I think it's done on purpose. If we compare that to the American Constitution, Congress shall make no law, or Polish Constitution, we had a Polish MP here, the Republic of Poland shall be a democratic state ruled by law. This is simple, this is understandable. But if we read Article 3, for example, from the Treaty on European Union, you can't understand almost anything, because complexity doesn't mean you are sophisticated, it means it's a camouflage. Act 6, expansion of everything. EU has some kind of a fascinating feature. It never shrinks, it grows bigger and bigger. It started with coal and steel, fair enough, then the common market, reasonable. Then it moved to the Single European Act, okay, Maastricht, Amsterdam, Nice, Lisbon, and each treaty expanded EU powers. So you cannot make one size t-shirt fit all. I saw some very nice shirts that you are wearing one today. But a t-shirt made for 50 million people doesn't gonna fit them all the same way. Last act, the democracy theater. I think we all live in something that I call democratic aesthetics. It looks like democracy. It has elections, it has a parliament, it has debates, but democracy is not just about voting, it's about the choices that you make. So, do EU citizens are really in participation and control of the agenda of the European Union? I would say no. They can participate in the process, but they don't control the influence on agenda. That's when the final act, which should be the most powerful one, is the conservative alternative, the one that each of you proposed today. I'm not anti-European, neither are you, or extremist, even if people may call us like that, but those are wrong on all counts. But we do love Europe, and that means we love our countries. And we love the diversity and cultures and history and achievements of each and every country. And we want Europe to thrive, as we want our own countries to thrive. And that's why we oppose forced centralization, and that's why we oppose migration. And we know that localism works, that decisions made close to the people who live with the consequences of those decisions are best decisions, and that competition improves governance. And I think we should return powers to national and local levels, and make the Commission accountable for everything that the Commission does, either elected directly or make it a true servant of national governments that can be overruled. So I would say that European Union does not allow, unfortunately, right now for real democracy, but we can make it do it. And it's not inevitable. Institutions can change, people can change, treaties can be renegotiated if we send the right people there, the patriots. And power can be decentralized. We can have a Europe of free nations that can cooperate voluntarily rather than subject that object everything reluctantly. I think the European project somehow can be saved, but only if we have the courage to admit it has strayed from its democratic foundation, and only if we prioritize citizens over institutions, only if we value self-government over harmonization for the sake of harmonization. So I think real Europe requires real democracy, and it starts with each and every one of us. Real democracy requires real accountability. Real accountability requires power close to people. And that's it. The cucumbers have been liberated, so we can also probably liberate democracy. And I will also answer questions, of course, but it was too serious, the talk here. Mine is serious too. I just played a little bit here and then, but really, it's a tremendous... For me, it's tremendous happiness to be here today and to hear that we all speak the same language, even if we speak Irish, which I promise I should learn, and German. And,